Hi everyone, this is Jann, and I wanted to come on and share a little 5x7 painting for you that you can whip out really fast. And the first thing that I did was I put my pattern on with graphite, and if you use graphite, you don't have to worry about your pattern smearing like you would if you traced it on with a pencil. So I did that first. Then I took a spray bottle with water. I sprayed the canvas. This is a canvas board. I took it and I sprayed it like that. And then I took my hand and I went ahead and went across the canvas and wet the whole canvas. Now I can do that because I have graphite on here and not pencil. And if you tilt your head, you can see that it's a little bit damp on that canvas. That's what I want. I took my mop brush. This is a 1/2-inch mop brush. It has an oval edge. I like the oval edges because they're not straight across and you get a really soft blend with these brushes here. They're really great. They're a natural goat hair brush. And then the next thing that I did was I took my palette. I have some white, some gray, a medium green, and a dark green. And I also sprayed this with a little bit of water so I could keep it a little bit damp. Now I need to go into the white. I want it a little loose, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to loosely put this on the back of my canvas here, the background. It's okay if I go over my lines a little bit. And the purpose of putting the water on here first was so that it could stay damp for me. Okay? That's what I want. I want it to remain damp for me so that I can use more of a wet on wet technique. And I can softly blend colors into the background and they will stay wet while I'm doing that blending process. Okay, I'll put my plate up here so that I can go into my colors here and kind of decide where you want some of your colors. I'm picking up the medium green, and it does have a little bit of water in it. I'm pulling it out. When you load your brush, pull your paint out like this, okay? Don't go into the big puddle there, just pull it out. Load one side of the brush, come over to your canvas, and softly blend some of that color in. Now this is how we do our shadow leaves that you can do on your canvas. Now I'm looking in the monitor and it's really kind of hard to see this color. I can see it okay from where I am, but where you are you might not be able to see it very well. But I want these colors really soft. Okay, now I can tell that my colors are getting a little dry. I can come back and spray some of the areas a little bit. That will extend my dry time. And you can really get some really nice effects. Acrylics, if you want to paint more like oil painting, then you have to use extenders or you have to use your waters so that your acrylics don't dry real fast. And if you live in area like I do, California, we get really hot down here, especially in the summer. So I'm going to put my little plate right here. And I'm going to pick up a little bit of gray right here. I used a dirty brush. I pick up some of that. Now I don't want that too dark, so I'm going to wipe some of that off. Then come back. I'm cross blending this with my brush to soften it down. There you go. See how that just softened that right out? And now I have a little darker color up close to where I'm going to put my leaves. Well, I want a few leaves in here. And I'll put some up here in the corner. I think I will leave this area really light, so I might want to add a little more white up in here. But I can tell just by blending with the paints that my paints are remaining wet because I added the water to the dry canvas. Now if I hadn't have done that, I would probably be in Agony City right now trying to blend all of this. And see, you can keep going with it. Lightest area here. I can still add color to it. I can still deepen some of the color, like add more bits of green down here, especially in the corners. And I'm picking up very little paint. And I'm going to dip this brush ever so lightly, just a few hairs, in a little bit of the water, just so I can get a better blend. Now sometimes you might see it puddle up there. Just take your brush real lightly and blend it out. It's not going to hurt. Picking up more color, little bits at a time. I'm not in any hurry. I'm just having fun blending these colors together. Now I think I'm going to go ahead and do pink flowers in this. I love pink. I love lavenders, different colors. Now see how I came in and darkened right over here a little bit? So I'm going to do all of this right in here. See how you can come in and just darken something? If you get too much on, wipe your brush on a paper towel and then come back and soften that color out. But it's such a nice way to blend in those backgrounds. And I need a little bit of dark in the crevices where it goes up further into the flower. You're going to have more shadow in that area, okay, than you will the other areas. So I can do that. Wipe my brush off, come out here, soften this. Okay, so now I have a little bit of shadow in there. Okay, now I can sit and petal with this a lot longer. I still want that to be a little brighter right here. So I'm going to pick up a little more paint. I'm picking up more than I have previously. And I'm going to pity pat that out here because I want that to stay a little bit brighter. Okay, put your color on and soften out the back edges or the outside edges that you have. Okay, it's getting real tacky with me. You can tell by my brush and the pull of it that it's getting real tacky. Okay, everyone. I know that's hard to see. For some reason, it doesn't show up as nice on the screen as it does when I'm looking at it in person here. But I've got the 3 colors on here. And then you want to go ahead and clean your brush in your water, just back and forth. Make sure you clean out your brushes, and that will do it. Now, if you go back into this, which I probably will once I start the roses, get the roses in, I'll want to add some of that rose color that I have in there into the background. But it will have to be dry. Once this starts drying, you have to go ahead and dry it to go back into it once it starts to set up. That's just the nature of the acrylics that I have here. All right, everyone. let's get our background on, and when I come back, we'll go ahead and do some little leaves and stuff in the background there. All right, I will see you in a few. Okay, we're back. And what I want to show you next is how to do these little soft leaves that we have going around our little rose here. Now I've done them sort of in a different way, but I really want you to see how I'm loading the brush here. So I still have my mop brush. I want this mop brush to remain on a chisel edge here. So what I did, you have to blot it, you have to put it in the water, blot it on a paper towel. Then what you want to do is load it up with some floating medium. You want to load it on the front and the back. And what you would do is, I picked up a little bit of the dark on the left side, a little bit of the green on the middle, and some white on the edge. And I went back and forth and just flattened out that brush so that it was a chisel edge. Make sure you have some floating medium on there because you don't want it real thick. And then what you're going to do is you're going to come back. You're going to put in these little leaves here. And what you're going to do is, you've got one side, you're going to be kind of on a 45-degree angle here. And you're going to come in, you're going to touch, and you're going to pull to the center. So you're doing actually two different strokes. That's all you need. You need one on the outside, so tilt your brush in an angle, touch, pull in, touch close to the tip, and pull in. Okay, and that's all that you need. My water's running here, but that's all you need to do for the stroke. And then your brush is already in a chisel, and then you're just going to use the chisel edge to add your vein on this. Let's see here. See, your little vein will come through there. Okay, and I usually use three leaves in an area. So I'm going to put one down on the end there. So when I come over here, I'm just dressing my brush a little bit, getting it ready. So I want a leaf right on the tip here. So again, I'm going to touch it, pull in. It's going to leave kind of a feathery stroke, which I like. Touch, pull in. Now I can feel it's a little bit dry, so I need to just go over it just on one side there. See how light that is? Now I can tell my brush is getting dry. How do I tell? Because it's dragging on me. Whenever I touch this, it's dragging. Okay, now I want another leaf right here. So I'm going to angle my brush so I can get you in the camera there and you could see. So tips up here. So I'm going to touch, pull, touch, and pull. See how I have a rounded stroke now? And then pull in with your leaf. Okay, let's do another one. Let's go ahead and do one more. Okay, right here, there's the point. It's going to be up there. So tilt my brush, pull. Let's do that one a little bit more. Okay, come up a little more. Touch, right here, and pull in. And I like it so that it has kind of the rounded look on the bottom there. I need to dress my brush to get it back in a chisel edge so I can get that nice point on there. Okay, now if I had some pink color, I could dab this in a little pink color and go ahead and add some color to these leaves while they're still wet. Now I picked up a little bit of the darker green. Okay, I might want to add a little bit darker green right there. See how I could do that? Touch, pull in, touch, pull in, pull a little bit more. Okay, let's go back up here. Let me set this down so I don't get everything mixed up here. Touch, pull in. See, I add a little length on that one. And then just come in and add some of these leaves. Let's see if I go this way. Touch, pull. Touch, pull. No, it's probably in the way on that one, huh? Yes, okay. So this one would be, the point's going to be up here. Touch, pull. Touch, pull. Okay, and your little stem will be right there. Just make sure your brush gets back to that nice chisel point. Let's see, I need to turn it this other. See how? Get it back in that chisel point. Yeah. It makes it really, really nice. Get those little points on there. Now you can add as many leaves as you want to your little painting here. It's fun to just practice doing those little bitty leaves. And I'll look at it a little bit more, and I might add some more leaves up in here, or that sort of thing. But I like to group them in 3s and 2s, and I could even put another one up here, a little small one right up here, and pull a little stem in there. Okay? So decide where you want your leaves, and go ahead and put your leaves in. And then when we come back, then we'll go ahead and start on our rose. And we can always add more once we get the rose on, because it looks a little bare because we don't have any pinks in there and we haven't started the flowers yet. So keep it kind of simple, because we can always add to it. And I just wanted to show you how to do these cute little 2-stroke leaves on here. And see, aren't they cute? They're just so easy to do. Just touch and pull, touch and pull, and you get that little bit of transparent look on the back of the leaves, and they're really soft when you do them that way. All right, everyone, come on, camera, adjust for me. There we go. There. All right. Anyway, when we come back and start the flowers, so I'll see you in a few. We're back, and how did everyone do on their little leaves that I showed you the other day? Remember, they are very, very simple. Here they are. They're just a little 2-stroke leaf that you can use just one side and then the other side. And you can put in as many as you want to. So what I have now for you is I want to go ahead and show you how to do these petals here. Now, I don't want to work on a dry canvas. I want to work on a wet canvas, and for that I need some slow dry medium, which I like using a Winsor Newton slow dry medium, and it's a thick gel, and you just put some on your plate. And I also like to add a product called Flow Improver, and I put 2 or 3 drops depending on how much slow dry I put a few drops in that, and just mix it together with a palette knife. And what that does, that improves the flow of the thick gel for the slow dry medium. Now, I did try all these mediums out, different brands, and this brand here stayed wet longer than any other brand that I had tried. My goal is to keep the bottom of the petal wet while I do the top petal, while I stroke with the mop brush and do the petals and strokes that are on top of it. And you might be able to get away with using other products like a blending gel or another slow dry medium that you might already have, and that's fine to use, and try it with that. And if you see that it isn't working for you, then you can go ahead and go to another slow dry medium. But what I want to do first is get out a pink color. Like I have this pink right here, and all you need is one color. Just whatever pink you have on hand and whatever pink that you want to use for your painting. Make sure it's acrylic paint, and you put some out, and then what you're going to do is put out some white. I have white right here, and you want to mix a middle tone for it. So I've taken some white and a little bit of this, and I've made a middle color. Now, being I've worked with oils most of my life, I like to have 3 values of color, a light, medium, and a dark. And that's what I created right here. So I just start off with one color and just create the middle tone. I also am using to fill in or to base in my petal, I'm just using a little filbert brush. Again, use whatever brushes you have. I like this filbert I have here. It's the right size, and I like using it. Also, when you're doing the petals or the top stroke of each petal, I want to use this 1/2-inch mop brush. And the reason I like this mop brush is it's goat hair, natural goat hair, and whenever you load it with paint, it will come to a chisel edge, like you'll see whenever I load that. And it really makes a nice overstroke. And when I do my flowers and petals, I really like using an overstroke. So if you already have these brushes, you're in good shape here. And if you don't, if I can figure out how to link the brushes in my YouTube, I will go ahead and put a link in there for you so that you can get a set of these brushes too, if you're going to be doing this type of method. And you're going to need a 1/2-inch and a 3/4 is what you're going to be using for the mop brush. The filbert here, this filbert here, it says a number 4, but sometimes in another brand of paintbrush you would probably need a 6 or an 8. Okay, so it just all depends on your brands of brushes and everything. So let's get started here. I'm going to set my mop brush aside for right now. I'm going to pick up this filbert, and I am going to start with the petals that are in the back. So I can see this petal's in back of this petal, so I want to do this petal first. So what I'm going to do is I am going to load my brush first. I dipped it in water, blot it on a paper towel, come back, and I load it with my slow dry medium. Just like that, I load both sides. And the color I want to pick up is this pink color. So I load both sides of my brush with the pink color. And I come over here to this petal here. Now I will zoom whenever I edit this video that I'm doing. I come over here and I block in this color on this petal. Okay, then I take and I wipe my brush off on a paper towel, and I set this brush on top of my water basin just to set it aside. I'll come back to it. Now I have my mop brush, and I take my mop brush and I have dampened it with water, blotted it, and then I have come over here and I've also loaded this mop brush with some of the gel, slow dry, And I'm also going to pick up just a little bit. I have a cap right here and it has water in it. And I just touch the corner of that brush into some water, and I mix that in with my slow dry. Then when I come over here, I'm going to use this light pink I mixed up. So I'm going to load both sides of this mop brush like that. And when I do that, let's see, you can see right here that I have a nice, see that nice chisel edge I have? That's what I want. And you load it until you have a nice chisel edge on that mop brush and all the ends of those bristles are closed. When I come over here, I'm going to do my petal stroke. And I'll pull it up here just a little bit so you can see it. So I have my base color on there. If I tilt my head, I can see that it's still shiny. That means my slow dry is still wet, and that's what I want. I want it wet. Start in the center, touch, and pull down some. Start over here. You're going to make a shell. You're going to go in the shape of a shell, and you're going to go on each side here, and you're going to touch, and you're going to pull in. Okay? And then you're going to set that down. You're going to pick up your other brush. You're going to do the same thing. Load in some of the pink, and you're going to go over here to this other petal. You're just blocking in color. Now I can come back and block in some dark color under here. Also, I just slap this color on like that. Set my brush aside. My brush is already loaded. I like to tilt this. There we go. To start in the center of each petal. Touch and pull straight down. But I don't go all the way down on that petal. Okay? And then touch, pull in, go to the other side. I flip my brush over because I've used this side. So touch, pull in, touch, pull in. And there I have my petals for the other side. Now if you get too wet, I can see I almost got too wet on that with my brush, so I'm going to blot this on a paper towel. I'm going to pick up my other brush, and we are going to pick up some more pink. My next petal is going to be this one here. Block it in. Now I'm going really slow so that you can see what I'm doing, but you don't have to paint this slow. It doesn't take this long to do the petals once you get going on them. Okay, touch, pull, touch, pull. Don't pull all the way to the bottom. Reload if you need to. Touch, pull, touch, pull. Okay, now if I want to highlight those petals a little bit with some white, see, because they're getting they're pretty wet. But if I want to highlight some of these, I can take a little white here, don't leave myself much room, work it into my brush so you can see the white on there, and then you can come back over with the same stroke you did and touch, just edge those little petals there. Just make an edge on it so that it shows up a little. You can even create other petals. Just make a little edge on there. Come back. If you get it to where you lose your petal. Okay, that's why I like using these slow dries, is because it gives you time to do your petal, and then you can come back and you can restroke on it and blend it a little bit more. And it will still blend in to where you have a nice feathered soft edge on it. Okay, now you have the choice. You can finish your front or you can go around and do some of the back petals. I like to do all my outside petals first. Let's see, let me move this like that. So that's what I like to do when I'm doing this method of painting. So you can see how this is done. So I'm just going to kind of take off here and do these petals. I'm not gonna go real slow at it. Okay, there's another one. I cannot see the difference between those two, so I'm picking up a little white. I want to edge this one. Let's see, yes, you can see a little bit. Now I will let that set up just a little. That way I can come back and re-edge it. Here's the next one. Change your brush. And I usually hold the brush in my mouth, but being as I have to talk, I have to hold it in my hand. That's usually what I do with it. I'm sure other painters do the same thing. Okay, now I'm trying to really keep these simple. Go into your slow dry if you need to. Let's see, there's petal back here. Block that in. Okay, change brushes. Over here. If you feel your brush dragging, that's where I would take just the corner, dip into a little water, come over here and go back into the pile down here that you pulled out. And that will let your paint flow a little nicer for you. Okay, I'm going to pick up a little more white. I can feel the drag on it. I'm going to pick up some slow dry, blend it right into my brush. Okay. A little more white, not quite white enough. And I'm going to edge that. There we go. Okay, now we have one more right here on the outside. Ooh, see how dry that is? Okay, when you start seeing dry marks, yes, you need some slow dry on that. You want it to be nice and fluid but not runny. See, here's the cup of the flower here. Okay. Touch. I'm gonna go in a little bit of water. Once you paint enough of these, what will happen is you will feel the drag on your brush, and you will know instantly that you need a little bit of your slow dry to help you. And it's just something that you have to learn by the feel of it. I mean, I could tell you all day long what it is, but until you start painting and experiencing how it feels, and when you get results that you really like, then you can go ahead and do that each time you do your strokes. I hope that makes sense to everybody. I'm going to dip in a little water here. Yep. Make sure you got that chisel edge on there. So touch, pull in, touch, pull in. Okay. I got two petals over here. Canvas is very, very dry. I need some slow dry here. There we go. Yeah, I don't like working on a dry canvas. I like working on wet. Okay, I'm going to tilt this. Got a little petal over here coming in. I'm going to touch, pull, touch, pull, touch, pull. Now, if you want more information on how to do these petals, I do Zoom classes, and I also will be doing some more workshop Zoom classes. And when I do those, I go into more detail as to how to do the petals than what I do on the YouTube. But those classes, you can message me and I can show you the dates on the classes. I'll have one starting in May. I will be doing a Zoom class on how to paint big petals using your slow dries. Touch and touch. Alright, let's do the front of this. We're almost finished. We've got 2 more petals here. And you would like those classes because I have nice worksheets that you can screen print while I'm doing, and you really learn a lot in the classes. Really go into detail on, and I give you other ways to do it too. I don't just show you one way how to do something. I might show you 3 or 4 ways to do a petal, and you do whichever one that you like and what works for you as a painter. You know, I don't make you do one particular thing. I don't make you use just one brush. You know, we all are individual painters, so what works for one might not work for the other. So I have backup plans. Okay, I'm just going to wipe that off. Go into my white. Now, this is where I want to highlight some. Now see, if you have an area where you cannot tell the difference between the 2 petals, then you need to highlight one or deepen one in color. Now see how I used the white? Okay. See how it brought that petal closer. See, now this one's in front of that one. So I show you how to edge your petals, how to tint your petals. Okay, so we have that, and what I am going to do next is do this little center here. So the petals are complete. I'm just going to add a little yellow center here. There we go. And then I'm going to come up and I'm just going to pity pat an irregular little center here. Now, if you want to use a liner brush, you can pull up some stamens on that. So I'm just going to take a little bit of green, add a little green down here near the base here, so that I have another color in here, like that, like a little cone shape, like that. Yeah, just like that. Now I'm going to go back with a little bit of the white, and I am just going to hit this little petal here because I went over a little bit when I was putting that center in. Oops, okay. When you come down on another petal like that, just take your finger with a little water. Okay. And if you need to, just take a paper towel and just kind of blot it a little bit. Yeah. See how I came down on that petal just a little bit too much. Okay, stay there. Okay, now, yeah, and I'm going to redo that right there. Alright, so that turned that into 2 petals. So now, whenever you look at your little painting, now what I would come back and do is to come back and maybe finger paint some of these colors again. I can pick up a little green here, add it to my plate, add a little of the slow gel to it, come back, and I pick this up so you can see, and you can finger paint some of this color back in that maybe you just kind of vanished. You see how you can use your finger. I love using my finger to paint with. And you don't even have to use a slow dry. You can just use a little bit of water with your finger. You want it real loose. See how thin that is? That is really, really loose. And you just come up here and you can deepen your corners of your little painting. See? Deepen your corners. Just rub finger paint, rub that color on, but you have to have some water or some of your slow dry. You gotta have something wet on there. You can't blend dry on dry. You have to have a little bit of wet so you can smooth it around. And being I have some pink, remember I mentioned I would be adding a little bit of pink in here also. Let's put a little pink up here. Oh yeah, that would be pretty. A little pink here and there. Oops. I spread my fingers out and you can't even see what I'm doing here. Okay. Pink. Yep, pink right in here. Be pretty. Just be sure it's loose. Like water. Loose like water. Ooh, look at that. You could also take your mop brush if you want to add some more of the pink color in. Just pick up and take that mop brush and soften some of that color back in. I want something over here. It's kind of bare over here. Huh? There we go. Yep. Okay. If you want to highlight that with a little more white, pick up a little more white. See if I can get that real white. This is where when you do your background, when you do your background, you can get it to look like oils. And you start adding all these neat colors in here. And you just soften it a little bit, soften those edges. Your background will look like oil paints, and people think that you did these in oils instead of acrylics. Let's see if I can get a good shot of that. Okay, so play with it. Take time to play with the painting and enjoy the process of learning. If you're not messing up, you're not learning anything. We all have those kind of paintings. But go ahead and take time to play with your painting. Enjoy the process of blending with your fingers and stuff, and blending with those little, with your petals. Now, I'm going to pick up a little white, and I'm just going to put a few little white dabs right here in the center. Let me get it right here. Right up close. See, we can do a few little dabs of stamens. We don't have to get real picky in here. Oh boy, I'm going to have to finish this video. I got school kids that are getting out of school, and they're riding their little motorcycles up and down our street. Alright everyone, take a screenshot of that if you want to, and I hope you enjoyed this little video. And these little paintings, they really like these paintings when I do them for eBay. They're a lot of fun. Let me tear this off. There we go. And this makes a little edging. And I also wanted it to hold onto a bigger canvas, but you can see that. See, isn't that pretty? Just a pretty little painting. So simple, so easy to do, and it didn't take very long at all. So thank you for joining me. Like I said, I'll try to put a link on there for these wonderful mop brushes. Just have to see if I can figure it out. I'm not real techy, but maybe I can figure it out for you, and I'll send a link there. Otherwise, please be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy me doing these paintings for you. Also, please like and share Zoom classes that I do for everyone, because you get more detail than what I do here on YouTube. I can't go too long on YouTube because then I can't load it up onto YouTube. It tells me, oh, you got too much whatever it is, and I can't load it up there. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me. Take care, and until next time, bye, and I'll see you then.